Maybe I can ask you some questions, I ventured optimistically. Derwena eyed the remote control. She eyed me. Her resigned gaze acknowledged the fact that I had taken my pen and notebook out of my shoulder bag. "You're not going away, are you?" she moaned. "Okay." She waved a dismissive hand in my general direction. "Fire away." I crouched over my notebook, my pen poised. I enjoyed this part of the job, asking questions, making notes, then trying to piece together and make sense of the answers. "When did you last see the stalker?" I asked. "Last night after recording. It was 3 a.m., and I was undressing, getting ready for bed. I looked out into the night, and there he was, staring at me, standing below my window in the castle grounds." "What did you do?" "I closed the curtains and ran to Milton's room." Derwena shrugged as she made her reply. She looked at me as if I were stupid, as if the answer was so obvious it barely begged the question. "What happened then?" "Tim opened the door. He was naked." Derwena rolled her eyes. She fanned herself with her left hand. "Tim, at 3 a.m., is not a sight that any woman would want to see." She frowned, leaning forward, and whispered conspiratorially, "Why can't men control their bits, you know?" She made an obscene gesture, then she sat back with a sigh. "Anyway, I insisted that I had to see Milton, and I told him what had happened. Milton put on a robe, followed me back to my room, and looked out of my window. Of course, the stalker had gone by then. Milton poured me a drink, vodka and orange, to calm my nerves. He told me to get into bed and he'd sort everything out in the morning. I told him to hire a private eye, and it looks like he's hired you." I made a note in my notebook, then asked, "Where was Woody, your boyfriend?" "He was with Nerd in the recording studio downstairs, mixing my vocals. The backing tracks are complete. We only need to redo a few vocals, mix them, and the album's finished." "Who's Nerd?" I frowned. "Our engineer. He's a wizard with knobs, I can tell you." I made another note, "and not the one you're thinking." "Nice to be a wizard at something," I smiled. "I guess so, yeah." "Was anyone else in the castle last night?" Derwena shrugged. She adjusted the thin strap on her left shoulder. "Just me, Woody, Milton, Tim, and Nerd. For the next fortnight, we've got the castle to ourselves." "And the security guys?" I probed. "Could any of them be the stalker?" "Nah," Derwena shook her head dismissively. "Not the right build. And I get on fine with the security guys." I made another note, then asked, "How many times have you seen the stalker?" Derwena frowned. She was concentrating. Hard. She counted on the fingers of her left hand while silently reciting the numbers. "It must be 5 times now," she replied, her generous lips swathed in a smile, as though pleased with herself, pleased that she'd counted to 5. I made another note, though in truth I had the feeling that if she'd had 6 fingers on her left hand, her answer would have been 6.